Starfield has a wide variety of quests, many of which are hidden and entirely optional, and sometimes you find yourself in scenarios that you didn't really expect, and you find yourself playing out the part of the lead character in a horror movie. This is All Out Gamer, I'm Echo, and here are 5 times Starfield went full horror. At number 5, we have brain leeches and the derelict Achilles. This randomly generated location will spawn just like any other. Jump into a system and you'll see a stationary ship that you can't hail. If you approach, you'll be able to dock with the ship and find out what happened. Upon boarding, you'll be met with the body of this derelict ship's sole occupant. A nearby computer gives a deeper insight into what happened to this man. He details a short break he took on a swamp planet. If you can get past the thought of who the hell takes a break to a swamp planet and read further, you'll find out that he woke up one day to find leeches all over his body and head. Further reading shows that since that day, this man has had itching all over his scalp. After failing with a course of antibiotics, the man goes on to say that it feels like things are burrowing into his brain. He did decide to change course to get medical attention from the nearest settlement, but it seems the parasites were too much and this man decided to take his own life. Ramping things up with number 4, we have the mysterious disappearance of an entire family at Safe House Gamma. This one can be found in the Andromas galaxy on Andromas 2. And what may first appear to be an unassuming location quickly turns into a horrifying place. Not long after landing and entering this building, you will hear eerie noises throughout, as well as a loud banging coming from down the corridor.
If everyone's gone, something's probably gone horribly wrong.
As Sarah suggests, everybody has disappeared from the facility and something has clearly gone horribly wrong. Throughout the building you will find several diary logs from the inhabitants, including this one from the children that simply says, "The noise scares them away." Continue your investigation and push on further down the corridor and eventually you'll find a switch. Once pressed, the eerie metallic banging will stop. Seemingly with the investigation complete, and no monsters in sight, you can head back down the corridor. However, you will immediately see that something has changed. Next to the stairs where you first entered, a tunnel will have opened up. Follow this along, and you will come to find what the children were afraid of. A terramorph. Having solved the mystery of what happened to the family, you can leave Safe House Gamma. However, this location isn't done with you yet, and has one last surprise. At number 3, we have an Overgrown Disaster at the Neurodyne Botany Laboratory. This one can be found on the planet Beta Mirai 1. When you approach the facility upon landing, nothing will seem out of place, as if nothing at all has gone wrong. But upon entering the lab, it will be clear that not everything is as it seems. Huge roots and branches have decimated the structure throughout. Flowers and plants litter the floor with ivy climbing the walls. And in the center of the lab is a miniature ecosystem with trees and wildlife. Further in, you'll find the living quarters of the scientists that work here. A nearby diary page suggests that the scientists were forcing plants to grow at an unnatural rate. Press on further inside and you'll find a button. If you press this, the whole facility will shake. Nearby, you'll find the corpse of a scientist. On his computer, he spilled his coffee, potentially unleashing the gas on the whole facility. The creatures that were attracted to this plant life completely decimated the entire botany staff. So please, be careful with your coffee around terrifying experimental computers. At number 2, we have the familiar story of the alien in the air ducts aboard the Colander. This mysterious, terrifying ship can be found orbiting Schrödinger 3 in the Schrödinger system. Immediately upon boarding, you'll be met with the body of one of the crew members. And clutched in her hand is an order to make the ship go into full lockdown. This, as the slate suggests, is the crew's last resort. Armed with this information, you can push further into the ship. However, you will find no more bodies, no more blood, and nothing else to suggest that anything went wrong aboard this ship. Search the crew's living quarters, and eventually you'll find another slate titled Interloper. This slate from one of the crew suggests that when he was doing some maintenance work, he heard something scuttling through the vents, and he thinks that something boarded the ship unintentionally when they last landed. Pressing on further into the ship, you will eventually come face to face with the interloper yourself. And fair warning to everyone, this thing puts up a real fight and hits like a truck. At number 1, we have the haunted ship of the Pale Lady. This is another one set to random locations, so unfortunately I can't help you find it. However, upon jumping into a random system, you'll be met with a UC longsword. Upon trying to hail the ship, you will be greeted with blood-curdling laughter. If you resist the urge to nope out of the system and board the ship, you will find audio logs. The first of these is a crewmate telling their friend about the story of the ship the Pale Lady. The ship was found drifting in deep space with its crew nowhere to be found. The crewmate goes on to suggest that the ship they are currently on is in fact the Pale Lady. He supports this by saying there's no way a ship this new and this well equipped would just be handed over to a crew like theirs. And unfortunately for him, he doesn't realise just how right he is. Further audio logs shed light on exactly what happened to this crew following this conversation.
What did the captain say?
Their fever's still sky high, but they were awake long enough to mention that... I'm not sure how to say this.
No need to beat around the bush, Doc. Just tell me what they said.
It's likely just a hallucination from the fever, but they claim to have seen the same thing the ensign saw.
Does anyone else know? The last thing we need is...
Sir, are you alright? Sir?
What is that? Do you hear that?
Hear what, sir?
What do you mean? For God's sake, how can you not...
Sir? Sir!
And what's most terrifying about that situation is the giggling at the end wasn't on the recording. And that's it, my friends. That's our list. Can you think of any more situations in Starfield that are like a horror movie? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one, and good luck in Starfield.
Master incoming!